Hey guys, great to see you. Hi, Violet. You were first here, babe. You made it, Violet. All right, so let's get into this specific message. So it actually came first. Now, of course, I listen to music all the time. I love music, and songs pop into my head when I'm doing absolutely nothing, as well. But it's always weird when something comes on random that I haven't heard in a long time. There's no reason for it. It's not connected to anything else, and that is why I'm going to go ahead and do this specific message because as soon as I just got done with a Libra video over on the other channel, as soon as I was done and I ended the video, I was like, I think I'll do a love message over here. It's time for our night owl session, right? It's 10 o'clock. And instead, instantly, I heard that song by Pitbull, I Want You. I know I want you. Um, I don't know if we would call it, does it classify as reggaeton music? Not exactly. Um, but that song was in my head. And, instantly I had this picture of somebody who was like in their car at a stoplight and they were grooving and singing along and dancing in their vehicle. It didn't have to be to that song necessarily, but it was like upbeat music and it was very passion driven. So I have a feeling this will be a shorter video only because it's very obvious right now. Somebody's in a good mood. Somebody's been bopping out in their car, and it is about passion and desire. And I would just read it very straightforward, or at least that's the way I think of this. Somebody, okay, so we have the Eight of Swords. This card comes out a lot. And we have the big old cobra, and she has no clothes on and is kind of like tangled up. But we've got the snake coming up behind her. I'm going to say it this way. If we have the story of somebody who is like, they're thinking about her, they're bopping out to music. I did get the vibe that it was a man who was kind of like dancing in his car, not a feminine. But I never saw the person. I just saw like movement. Okay, we have a car now, a drop top. So maybe somebody has a convertible. Maybe somebody likes the really classy. To me, this is like an Elvis Cadillac. I love those big old cars. Just slabs of metal. I just think they're awesome looking. But maybe somebody is into classic cars. This feels like we may have it doesn't have to be a divine masculine, but we definitely seems like we have two people that have been in desolate energies, but now we may have a divine masculine who's like found something that he likes. He's ready to leave something behind, if maybe he's burning his little black book. Maybe it's like, I don't care who I've dated before. I'm interested in her. I'm going toward her. Yes, he's sneaking up behind her. She doesn't expect this. She's stuck in her own right on something else. But we've got this, by the way, I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, but the crab that is flying over the mountain has a pearl necklace on. I that card has actually always made me like chuckle, but I've never really commented before that the crab has a pearl necklace. I think that's hysterical. I feel like I don't know, that's just like a little bit of whimsical this or that. Okay, weird. Again, remember these are specific messages, so bear with me. Our divine masculine, who may very well drive a red car, who is the one listening to the music, bopping out, who is the one who is interested in this feminine, who he is interested. We know that. But he may believe that he's seen like an unidentified flying object. He may be very into sky watching. He may be somebody who likes UFO stuff or has seen a UFO or something along those lines. I only say that because that crab in the sky with the pearl necklace, it's things that don't compute. Maybe he's noticed things that, he's seen the different, the God, wasn't it like New Jersey that had like for a month or something, it had like bus sized, they called them drones or something that were supposedly flying overhead. They were like the size of Volkswagens. And then everybody was like, oh, it's just fine. Yeah, no worries. And it's like, okay, that's the story we're going with. Okay. So I don't know. I'm just saying that this is an extra specific message over here. This could also be somebody who likes Aurora Borealis or has tried to go see it before, would like to go see it. You may have a bucket list of like sky watching activities. I'm not saying this person is like fringe science and like way out there or anything. I'm just thinking that these things are popping up off of that card. And obviously I use this deck a lot and I really haven't had those specific messages before. 7 of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, so he's not somebody who sits around and waits. He really doesn't see the point. Once he knows what he wants, why doesn't he go get it? I do feel like he's got this gregarious attitude. Maybe he even looks a little bit like that singer Pitbull, or maybe there's this attitude that he's got, a certain swag to him, a certain energy to him. It's actually, I think it's a red Cadillac, Ginger. I'm only saying that because the crab is more pink, and I think this is a very red Cadillac, which now I'm thinking of Prince's little red Corvette instead of pink Cadillac. But with the Seven of Pentacles, he may drive around and listen to music, by the way. He might be from that generation. That's kind of like my generation, my older sister's generations, when cruising was like still a thing, you just drive around and it was so awesome. I have no idea why that was so fun. It just was. I think that's just my generation thing. It was long before cell phones, right? But with the Seven of Pentacles and that Knight of Coins in the reverse, he's already, this is very romantic on one hand, but he doesn't see any point in waiting. He doesn't see any point in moving slowly if he knows what he wants. Seven of Coins says he's been around the block a time or two. He knows when he meets somebody who's really amazing energy. He knows what he likes. So why would he not go after what he likes? I feel like his attitude is, I need to go after the person that I've encountered that I think is really wonderful, because what if somebody else gets to her first? Now, what he doesn't seem to know is that she's tangled up elsewhere. We need to take a look at what's going on with her, because this feminine, I don't know what she's tangled up in. The fact that she's look, I can't show the card, but she's got quite I'm about to quote, I think Sir Mix-a-Lot, something about quite a hinder on her. We'll just say it that way. Three of Cups. There's something going on in her world where I don't know if she's really body confident or if she's not body confident. I don't know what this is about for her. She's got no clothes on in this. And she got a great body, by the way. But I can't show the card. She's voluptuous. But now we have these three women who should be supportive, who should be kind, but they might come across as nitpicky. They all got their teacups on their hat, like, well, we're just here to speak the truth. And they're all bundled up and they're in these like kind of frumpy coats. I'm wondering if there's some weird disconnect in her life where she's feeling a little suppressed because of the people in her family. Yeah, they stress her out. I feel like she has an issue with family members that are maybe a little bit on the nitpicky side, even though they're like, oh, we're just telling the truth. You shouldn't wear that. That's too much skin to show. That's this and that. I don't know. It feels like it stresses her out a little bit to have so much truth, other people's truth coming at her. It could come across as judgy, maybe. We have a Seven of Swords. There's also an element where I feel like in order for her to be herself, she's kind of learned that she has to kind of lie, pretend to be somebody else in front of family. But maybe she's like got some awesome talent. Maybe she's like a pole dancer. Maybe she's, I'm picturing somebody who is like more comfortable in her own skin, but other people aren't. I don't know. It could be something along those lines, but she's almost like having to live a bit of a lie, just a little bit is what it comes across as to me. Bridget, you angel, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. We've got the Teacher, which is also the Hierophant in any other deck. It is sideways. I do feel like, okay, let's give a scenario here. Let's say she just has this looks very conservative to me. Very, very, very conservative. Like, don't show your figure. Don't do this. Don't do that. You can wear heels, but, don't wear a shorter skirt. It's got to be below the knee. Don't wear anything too tight. It'll show off your figure. It feels like she could be around people that are extremely, like, we'll just say old fashioned, or, they have a comfort zone. And if she's been raised in an environment or her community is very, very, very modest to the point of like, like hiding one's own personal beauty, she may realize that it's not great that I have to hide who I am or my own personal comfort zone, but also maybe they could stand to learn a little something from me about why would we, you know, have to like hide ourselves away. It just feels like there's a struggle going on for her to be able to be her authentic self. And there is something here about lessons and wisdom, and I don't know, it feels like she's kind of struggling with the right to just be her own personal self and express herself the way she wants to. Let me ask this. Do you recognize anything about this dude who seems to be bouncing around in his car, being bold, knowing what he likes? Divine feminine, yes. She may really like him too. You know what's so funny is, like, I don't want to paint this feminine as like somebody who's like, oh, struggling with morality or anything like that. Number one, I don't judge people. I think everybody, you do you, boo. I don't do the, shaming and stuff like that. But I will say this, I don't even think she's like living some wild life or something. Like, maybe she wants to be an artist model, and it's like, what's the big deal? We're all naked under our clothes. I don't get why that's a bad thing. And she has very conservative people around her that are like, oh, never, you can't do that. But it feels like what's so ironic here is that she's coming across as like the Madonna, the, Mother Mary. So she may have a very strong spiritual core belief also. And I feel like she pretty much like adheres to like her core values and belief systems. And I think she has probably some powerful like sense of morality, because come on, it's right there on the card. So it's interesting that she may be somebody who is a really good person, but maybe is just more comfortable with like the natural world, her own self, her own sensuality. And she's around people that are a little bit more, not just outdated, but it feels dogmatic. And it feels like they believe it's their role to guide her. And this could be a full grown adult being guided still by, family members that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's like, okay, hang on now. I'm not doing anything wrong. I really don't need you to constantly keep me on the right path. And plus I'm 40, like that's the way this is coming across. Like, I really don't need people breathing down my neck about what's right and wrong when I'm not doing anything wrong in the first place. But it feels like it's a struggle. It feels, I mean, maybe we all clean up our act a little bit when, out of reverence to like grandparents, or out of reverence to our parents, or, mixed company, other environments. I mean, I'm not a religious person myself, but I love to, experience other people's cultures. So anytime I've been abroad, I always, always, always will, go into the Greek Orthodox churches, and, you have to wear skirts and you have to cover your head. And of course I'm going to do that. I don't want to be disrespectful. It's not what I do in my daily life, but I would respect the culture I'm in. So being, giving deference to somebody is one thing, but then if somebody were to tell me this is how I have to live my whole life, oh, hell no. Hell no, you do not tell me that I have to wear certain things to please you. So that's where I'm kind of like, I'm just trying to describe it, because that's what I see. Like, she's fighting between like, it's okay to give respect, but on the other hand, I'm not going to be ruled, but I'm in a weird place where I have to lie just to live my own life. So I feel like she's got like, it's almost like a feminine has to live a little bit of a double life because of the environment she's in. She likes him. Now that could pose a problem. We could have something where it's like, maybe he's more outspoken, maybe he's more outgoing, maybe he would be, like, oh, the person who's a little bit more wild. We've got this 8 of Pentacles. She may think, I'm going to have to work on family members to get them to accept the fact that he's roaring around listening to loud music, and he's straightforward, and he's blunt, and he's passionate, and it could be that it's like, oh, this could be tough to stitch our families together, because I have a very conservative group around me. The thing is, again, it just kind of feels like people shouldn't have to worry so much about who they're with or what they personally choose. Especially, I mean, is there anything more personal than who we want to share our bodies with, or who we want to share our hearts with? I don't think nobody has any business in any of that. Nobody should even be allowed to have their own opinion about what we're doing with our own, personas like that. Because it's not hurting anybody, just us choosing for ourselves, right? And 2 consenting adults, that's all it takes. That's the parameters there. But we got the Two of Cups. Look, come hell or high water, I feel like this is going to be a love story that is they're going to be together. Whether or not other people want them to be together, whether or not it's approved of in the community. Wheel of Fortune, we got this little jar of dreams here. This definitely gives vibes of almost like, even though this, I feel like these are very grown up people that are still having to like fight for their connection. Almost like, when like a Romeo and Juliet, teenagers whose parents don't approve in the different, families that have beef. But they're not teenagers. These are grown-ups who still have to face kind of the same thing. Like, wow, we have to just make our relationship be the number one thing because other people might still want to give too much of their opinion. We can't let our relationship get torn apart by people that don't either support our lifestyle or the fact that we're in love. I don't know what this weird worry about this pushback is for when she's a full-blown empress. Queen of Swords, it's really just like, I'm going to have to tell my family that this is who I am in love with. She may be moving, though, and going away in order to be with him at some point. And that could be the thing that is like, they're not going to like this. Maybe it's a different, like, religious background. Maybe there's something here. Hermit, it almost seems like the family expected her to stay single. Like the family liked it better if she just stays single and stays on her own and goes home and reads books. This is crazy. This is crazy. I feel like this is, I don't know, like this is an energy of maybe she's going to change her whole pattern of life in order to be with him. Maybe she's been wearing chunky, warm sweaters and, spending a lot of time at whatever auntie's bridge, club and, Sunday nights, cooking dinners with the family and going to church 3 times a week. And, maybe this is what they're like. Yes, we like this. You're an integral part of our society. You drive us around, you behave, you're a good girl. And instead, now she's going to change her life. She's going to maybe wear sexier clothes or, we want to be alluring for our partners. We're going to ride around in the car with them. We're going to listen to bumping music. We might travel. We might move someplace else. We might move to London. That's going to be a culture shock alone for a family group who has like very defined ways of like, this is how we do things. This is how we like you to be. This is the way you're supposed to be. Well, she's in love with somebody, really in love with somebody, and he's, I think, really in love with her. This has been something where I feel like her life kind of got put on hold while she was busy being everything to everyone in like that small community. I feel like she was dealing with a lot of people that like enjoy like her living like she was still in their generation without considering that that's pretty much sucking her out of the present and making her live in their past. And I kind of think that that's what we're describing in the most gentle way I can try to describe it. But it does feel like family or whoever this group has been, those 3 women that we saw in the bulky coats, I feel like they only give their approval. They could be quite gossipy, but they only give their approval so long as she lives according to their laws, their rules. But they haven't considered that that's really not okay, that you expect somebody else to live your lifestyle choices so then you can approve of them. And kind of keep them doing your bidding, because I definitely get some of that in this. Okay, let's go back over to him. So for our masculine, I don't feel like that's his deck. Let's go. Yeah, I think this is a better deck for him. Okay. 10 of Wands. Look, he's in this mindset of you need to not worry about it. They'll adjust to me. They'll adjust to us. I'm coming to get you anyway. I'm driving by to come pick you up. Let's just not stress out about this. So this is not okay. And this is like, he doesn't think it's very fair that she should have to be so stressed out over, like, she may cry sometimes over the stress of all this. There's something here where I feel like he's real gentle with her. I feel like he understands, like, it's hard sometimes to, I guess, buck the system, or to, go against the grain a little bit. And I feel like he thinks it's unfair that she's kind of being put in a position that she has to feel this much stress over something as simple as, I don't know if they, like, don't want her to spend the night at his house or what, but maybe it's like, I'm going to move in with him, and maybe it's moving in before they're married. Maybe that's a big taboo still. I would never marry somebody if I didn't live with them first, but that's just me, because I want to make sure we get it right. There's a lot of moving parts that have to click together like perfect Lego pieces. Make sure that you smooth together, and you cohabitate well. But that's just my opinion. But I'm feeling like with that Eight of Wands upright, this is him saying, just, I'm going to come pick you up, sleep here, we'll talk about stuff. I feel like they're spending an awful lot of time having to talk about the stress that is external to this relationship, instead of them just being able to live their life. Yes, they're still gonna make it. They're choosing each other, but it feels like these are significant delays. And I'm wondering, do we want the universe to weigh in on this? Because I'm feeling kind of like, suck it up. And not to the two of them, but like to the three women in the jackets. Suck it up. Let people live their life. You should be supportive, not critical. You should want her to be happy. Knight of Pentacles. The universe is like, look, easing them into this might be the best way to go. Taking time, building a relationship slowly is not going to hurt them, as long as they're both developing more powerful connection, getting to know each other better. It also kind of gives him the chance. In this case, the universe says he's getting to play kind of the knight in shining armor, the person who kind of is like, babe, I'm sorry this is stressing you out so much. It shouldn't be like this. He's kind of getting to play the gentlemanly role. He might even get to try to use his charisma on the people in her family. And he might actually kind of like that. It might actually make him be, minding his P's and Q's. Like, I need to treat you really, really well. Otherwise your family's going to hate me, because they already don't like the fact that I'm taking you away from the lifestyle that they want you to live. But man, they're going to hate me unless I can make them like me at the beginning. This might actually be serving the two of them well, because it's making both of them think about how important is this connection to us. Because we got to face kind of like, I'll call them the firing squad, the rapid fire questions that will come from these particular family members. And it's like, if he's ready to face the family and make nice with them and prove that he's here for the long term, and that he's somebody who would like not corrupt her. And that I still feel like we're dealing with people that are like in their 40s. Like, all these people, these are mature individuals on these cards. These are not 20-year-olds. These are like 40, 45-year-olds that are still struggling with the family acceptance. And I'm only chuckling because I'm like, God, we never really grow out of like family approval and the difficulties, and the joy of having family that really cares about us. But it does say that the universe is like, hey, it could be making the two of them realize, hey, we need to be able to face these family members and say, you don't get it. Like, we're serious about each other. We're going to be together. We actually love each other. We have marriage plans. This could actually expedite how serious they really talk about their future together, simply because they are going up against forces that are going to be highly critical. And it's like, whoa, we're not messing around here. We're serious about each other. So you're going to have to get used to me, because I'm going to be part of the family. It almost feels like it's going to lead to them saying, this is for the long term. We're not just wasting each other's time. So you're going to have to adjust and adapt to our romance and to us being together. I'm hearing that song by Magic. that sounds rude. I'm going to marry her anyway. Why you got to be so rude? You know what? I kind of, at the end of the day, this storyline feels like maybe this is all for the best. The fact that they are being more or less uncomfortably challenged, but it actually, instead of driving a wedge between them or making things hard, they wind up saying, well, I'm not going anywhere. So they're just going to have to accept the fact that I choose you. And he's saying they're going to have to accept me because I'm not going anywhere. This is pretty serious. You know, it's not so bad after all. I guess we should pull one last card and say, will the family eventually accept this? Will the family get to the point where they stop being highly critical? Will they get to the point where they understand that their opinions will not change other people's choices in life? Six of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. You know, over time, they will probably be the ones who are like, they'll tell the story in amongst their friends at their bridge club, like, you know, oh, these two were meant to be. They were made for each other, blah, blah, blah. They're, you know, they're soulmates. I didn't believe in it until I saw those two, but man, they've been in love since day one, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be oblivious to the fact that they put this couple through hell. That's how that comes across to me. That's pretty crazy. Oh no, they're soulmates. They're supposed to be together. We knew it. It's like, no, you tried to keep them apart. But it just feels like, you know, hindsight, right? Hindsight. Now they'll be able to say, oh, this works beautifully. They're a terrific couple. They're such a beautiful couple. They were meant to be. Crazy, crazy, crazy. That was an interesting one. All right, you guys, I haven't had one quite like this. Nice to see everybody tonight. Yes, Ginger, I know, right? Voyager 2, Calm Sea, Miss Moody. Hey, San Juanita. You moved from Chicago to Wisconsin. I'm sorry that you lost your mama, sweetheart. I'm so glad that you have your Red and Albert. Danny D, hi, hun. Hi, Seashells. Thank you, guys. Really good to see you all tonight. Just me, good evening to you also. Ralph K, right back at you. Oh, San Juanita, I didn't know that. Well, all I've ever seen of you in the chat is somebody empowered and vivacious and just brilliant. So whomever you've chosen to be is a beautiful person. Angelina Davina, Rusalka, please forgive me. Yes, fuddy duddies. There we go. That's perfect. Annette, you angel. Thank you, honey. I hear you, Ginger. I agree with you so much. Shame is a useless emotion that people inflict on others. Absolutely. I agree with you. Bridget, thank you again, hun. Hi, Tasha. You were thinking Christine, the movie, when you see the red car. I totally forgot about that film. Hi, Wajuna Wild. Astrid Noid, JJ, Mon, Neandria Rini. Hi, T. Juliet, great to see you. Happy birthday, Juliet. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. The light, wonderful to see you. Nick, it's always great to catch you. Deep Blue Night Thoughts, wonderful to catch you too. Juliet, tomorrow I'm going to be going live and doing card pulls. May I pull a card for you for your birthday? I'll put you at the top for tomorrow. Sheila, hi. 11:08, hey. Deep Blue Night Thoughts. Sounds like what happened to you last night. Hi, Danielle. Hi and goodbye, honey. Sweet dreams. Or I guess I should say, have a great day to you in Australia. Hi, Super Thought. Aloha. All right, you guys, just know tomorrow we will be going live on both channels. I'll also be doing separate lives for members also, and we'll be doing some card pulls for everybody to celebrate because tomorrow's Memorial Day. So I will see many of you. Awesome. Juliet. Okay, cool. I'll get to you tomorrow, love. All right, you guys. Sweet dreams, everybody. I think I'm still going to bounce over to the other channel and do a card pull or a storyline for Ophiuchus. I want to make sure Ophiuchus gets one tonight still, and we'll probably do that one live. So if you guys are up late, I'll see you over on Case Regretless Life. Bye, everybody.